Memo Bibia Kwaba, the back Keba political show. Yes, so Keba political show. Ya can senior is city and pepe. Yanchiano. A year NPP for Moasi Debia, Monfama Afenyo Markins. Monda Afenyo Markins as a papa. Near Afenyo Markins Yama NPP as minority leader. Esubi Embada. Moko opposition Nansian. As a party no, mo pese mo good party no. Na se yanhwe de Afenyo Markins ono nko a ye wo parliament. Hwe tofsema odema NDC for e wo parliament wo. Sisi ano because of Afenyo Markins no, ye hu NDC so mo ye majority. Apart from Bela ye de beko ho a ye be kasa ombeka ye. Some of the business issues about floor of parliament now. If I say the Afenyo Markins, esi jina ne na so, esi two questions no. Ade money speaker Bagbe. Na NPP for. Mako opposition na ese more set mo party no. Mo anu dia mo nye. We timi, wakami, we timi, we akami. Enkwa na ekoso e wo party nim. Ese kan so to wi aprada atu etwa. Nanso MPP die omolusu no afena omobo omochi. Asimesi wa yese, obentia yese, asimesi wa yese, obentia yese, especially Subin MP na yetu no akonwa so no. Hwese dia osi egu MPP enima ase. MPP for mo ya se mo nimi nyansa. MPP for mo ya se pese menkum nya no munjai. Hwe NDC
said as a middle bencher 2013 when I was a backbencher, and the leadership positioned some of us to be in the middle bench to throw the punches. So they would come in when your back is against the wall. So that was what I did as a first timer. Although I was supposed to be a backbencher, but I was pushed into the middle bench to do the advocacy in opposition. Then we came into government. I didn't make it into leadership. But then I still had to stay in the middle bench to be giving it back, because you see, if you don't push back, your back would always be against the wall. So that was a role that was assigned to me, and I did that for first 4 years, and then I had to come into leadership as deputy, and Che would always reserve the big days for me. So he would prepare me when some people say, I am boisterous. That one is also coming from you.
That's true.
I have to accept it because it's a role I have to play. He knows procedure, and he also knows the rules. But he has my advocacy as a lawyer, and he needed that strength. So we will prepare on debate. We will prepare. And also, Deputy Leader, these are the lines you have to take. But you don't have to underestimate NDC. You know, MPP, we are like a middle class party. NDC has its roots from the revolution, and it's a grassroots party. So when you are dealing with NDC and you go the a crutchy way, you will stay in opposition forever. So you need to strategize. It's a mix of when you have to negotiate, when you have to punch, and when you have to lay back and all. So you realize that, especially in the last 4 years, it was 137, pound for pound, almost on daily basis. And these are the strong team. The Ablakwas, the Suhinis, the Defiamakos, okay, Ayargas, they were there. And they had a strong leadership. All of them could punch the same weight. And outside, our strong men were in government. And we had some other MPs whose energy levels were not as strong enough to face the other side. So on any given day, you have about 10 hitting on government, setting all manner of agenda. I was alone. And I had to carry all on my shoulders. So seeing me boisterous, seeing me punching, it was a necessary intervention. You know? And for instance, when I eventually became a majority leader and speaker ruled against us, people said, oh, why didn't you negotiate? Why did you run to the Supreme Court? Look, all doors were shut.
All doors were shut?
All doors were shut.
In terms of
engagement. People didn't realize that it was close to election. Speaker would be can never be neutral. Speaker has a party. And I knew that Speaker was also doing the bidding of his party. All right? The pressure that I put on him, he received, if not more, similar pressure from his party. But what am I saying? Over. You see, so this was a situation where we had gone to engage him. And looking at the situation, he was only going to listen to us and not to rule. And I'm the leader. He rules and says that I've declared 4 seats vacant. What that meant practically was that I was a minority leader. What that meant practically was that there could be no government business. What that meant was that the committee leadership would also have to change, committee composition. People didn't know what that meant. Committee composition. What it meant also was that the new majority, if it had been allowed to stay, will now dictate to government what government should do. And our friends were poised to do that politics. There was no way for me. So I had to now seek interpretation, which I did. And now minority leader. Look, we went into an election, very bruised. We expected, we were looking forward to winning. We didn't win. And even so, the performance in Parliament was not what we expected. That is okay, even if we lose, we should come back with some 130 seats, 120 seats, or in the worst case, in 100. Now we are back to our 1997 squad, where they were 61, NDC 133. So now 88 against 187. None of the independent MPs join us. So that means that you need to do as much pushback as possible. The party base must be activated. You must also lead the rebranding. Now, there is no party leader. We don't have a flag bearer yet. We have a couple of our senior men, you know, putting their names. We hear names. The flag bearer for 2024 himself, Dr. Baumia, you know, is looking forward to returning. We've heard his name. We've heard Kennedy Japan. We've heard Brian Achampon. We've heard Dr. Educhum. And I'm sure a couple others will also come up. You get the point. So now, as a leader in Parliament, de facto, everything is on my shoulders to activate itself. I also see that I have a responsibility to lead the rebranding of the party because obviously the youth shifted away from us. The DDP thing, the debt exchange program, they don't help us because our base is the middle class, and the middle class does investment, and they lost out. So you realize that those who were very upset with us decided that okay, we will not also vote for NDC, but Yankotokra. That notwithstanding, I believe that when the Okwe report comes, we would have a better picture of really what caused us. But for the time being, the party base must be active. We need to hold the feet of the NDC to the fire. And I have to play my role as a minority leader.
Two quick questions. So, in a way, you've done a lot of explanation, but it's sort of endorsing what I said, that it has to be an act. You have to do that.
Oh, certainly, you must. I mean, you must take your space. It's you cannot. Your role as a politician will definitely not be the real you as a father, as a Christian, as a husband, as a socialist, as a friend in your fraternal, settings and all. Because in that chamber, you are dealing with your political opponents. And they also have their party ideology. They have their party policy. You have yours. It's a political competition. And, senior, the most important thing is that it's a perception-driven enterprise. So for me, I am also conscious of the fact that much as I need to lead my side, I'm also looking at what were the areas that I got it wrong. So for instance, if Wofa criticizing me, I shouldn't take it personal. And say, okay, so maybe didn't attempt to go for. What did you attempt, Kaka? I've grown sanity. When you be man can just hey, oh, Kododo, Jaisa, Yawo yana woman kofu and yet ufi say oh person party for energy, but you may be sure you may be going to the extreme. So at least I try to open up to close friends. I have a big brother. He took me as a son since I entered parliament in 2013. And he has not given up on me. Sometimes when I make some mistakes, he will call me over. I'm referring to my friend Dr. Isibeyabwa. He is my senior brother, my father, my mentor, my everything. He will give it to me. Kwame will give it to me. The next morning he will call me again. Now, and I want yes sir. Mate. Then some two other friends, I won't be sending Mudi. I'm also my friend, me call. See, and I'm saying, no fear, Sani, Ofe, Lejoba, Sani, Ofe, Neke. Then my uncle, Domahini, Nenegati. When I see his calls, midnight, then I know there's wahala. Then all the party elders, they follow everything in parliament, they checkmate. Sometimes even when you are doing vetting, they can text you, or when you are done, they call and say, look, here you did it wrong, here you got it right, next time do this and all. When we lost, and President Mahama was nominating his ministers, some people attacked me for allowing the process to, go on smoothly, faster than expected. Normally when the nominations come, they have to advertise for 2 weeks, receive the memorandum and all from the public. And I said, look, we don't need to create that vacuum. Let's push it through. Because after all, they qualify and the government must be formed quickly and all. There were some who disagreed, but some of our very senior party members for that, no, let's not create a civil service system where within period after transition, the civil servants who are running the government. The political heads must go and take responsibility. It is taking the responsibility that you in the opposition can criticize them and can question their actions. So I had to take that responsibility, receive some few bashing, and then I had to explain. Now you're also a leader. You have your backbench. They are new. And you have to always do a conclave engagement with the other side. You come back, they may not be sure. What is our leader saying? Why should we cooperate? There are times that they may not be happy with cooperation, and that may lead to some suspicion. There are times that you may be all out there attacking government. Some of your colleagues may feel that no, it is not the right approach. So you must always balance it. Listen, one of the difficult things to do is to form committees.
Yeah.
And when you are forming committees, everybody wants a space. You listen to their views, make an input. You can't satisfy everybody, but you have to get it through and move on.
Okay. Thank you. You've said a lot. And during the vetting, there are some things you said earlier that I want to come to.
Yes, sir.
Eventually. But during the vetting, it was believed that there were certain people that you had targeted to give a hard time, what do you say, Ablakwa and Sam George. Was it true that you had targeted? You seem to dwell a lot on them, and to the extent that you wanted to find out everything. Was it deliberate? Because there was some too that you allowed to go within a few minutes.
Well, over. We did. We be same. Mami and try here. On Sam, Sam George and I have had a good relationship, very cordial. I think that he also went to the extreme in some of his politics. Akufo-Addo is giving me a political space through his leadership. He's giving the NPP that opportunity to be seen by the nation through his leadership. And he is all we have as our leader. Therefore, politically, if you keep pounding him without respect, definitely, I'm being honest, given the opportunity, I would need to scrutinize some of the things you've said about him. So, without...
and you thought Sam George had been disrespectful?
A lot. The Chief Justice, the attacks on the Chief Justice, the attacks on Akufo-Addo.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you.
you have just watched the video. Would you want to explain what you mean by Nana Akufo-Addo did not steal from the public purse, but they actually stole the purse? Would you explain what you meant by that? And after that, let the public know whether you still stand by that statement or you seek to retract.
Mr. Chairman, before I answer, may I seek leave of you to know how many minutes I have to answer this question? Because I have a litany of over 700 corruption scandals under President Akufo-Addo that I will list systematically and explain each one to show Ghanaians how President Akufo-Addo and his government stole the public purse.
You see, Wafa, politics in the bit you, but as I say, you're very personal. Senipana Yabonia, fine. But when you accuse the person using very unprintable words, whenever you've criticized me before, you didn't use unprintable words. You feel that, what did you say? So who did give me attempt with some language bia and here? There be. Everyone yes, so I think in the case of Sam George, we had some discussion and I felt he could land safely and all. But he took a position. And the position he took is what led to that extended engagement. In the case of Sam Okuleto Ablakwa, well, I also felt that he had taken the politics rather to the extreme levels, where he was attacking his colleagues and attacking opponents and getting personal. Me myself, me nkoje aban sika, me nkoto aban asase. But soon after the election, as if I was one of their targets, they were flying drones on my properties in Winneba. Flying drones.
Who was flying drones?
The oral team. They later denied that it's not them, but look, we know what we know. Okay? And my Belenke property, I've lived there for so many years. So many years. Why would somebody go to the rail line, cross the rail line, and try to be spying my house? For what? They go to Winneba, do the same thing. And in fact, when he was coming to the vetting, he even had a search report with him. He read it, if you remember. He now read the search report.
I'm even looking into your own in Winneba. I have the document here. It also varies. So,
Honorable nominee, because you have brought me in, I'm able to find out from you about my properties in Winneba that you know. I want you to share with the public.
this specific one is a lease between you and the government of Ghana on 22nd March 2023. The name Alexander Afenyo Markins for 99 years. This is in Winneba. The official search certificate indicates that the site also is covered by a lease dated 22nd March 2023 between the government of Ghana on one part and Alexander Afenyo Markin on the other part for a term of 99 years. So that is what the search certificate states.
It means that whatever I was being told they were doing was true. So, unbeknown to him, of course, he's not a lawyer. So perhaps he didn't even understand the search report. Because the search he did showed that my property in Winneba is not a state land. Okay? And he read it. So the question is, why that? Put that aside. He himself had made certain presentation about MPs and their benefits and all. And I knew that he had taken all those benefits. Yet he had created the impression out there that, look, MPs taking back car loan was not the right thing and all that. And then the way he was questioning people's lifestyle, I wanted to ask him whether he could avail himself if he's in that situation. So it wasn't personal. No. As minority leader, I'm supposed to do my work. Then he also said that, yes, there are some people that will let them go. Indeed. In Parliament, those who build consensus, those that you think that, look, these ones, they appreciate the governance. You don't want to ruffle them. Okay? Let it be.
We are all stand by this, or you believe that with the benefit of hindsight, you could have used a more measured language as a politician. I understand you made this on the 4th of September in the heat of campaign.